Cheers. Clap.
And here we go again. Welcome back to the Dead Red Herring podcast.
Yes, with me, Magnus, and with you.
And with me, Roland. And we have a special guest today, all the way from Australia.
It's FairDinkum Dave.
I don't know what the fuck that accent was.
Neither do I. Jesus Christ, it stinks in here. What did you do to that horse?
Hey, that's my beating horse. You leave that one alone.
Could you at least try to spray it some deodorant every now and again?
No, you need that natural musk.
It gets us in this hallucinogenic ranting mode.
A man of culture.
Exactly.
So we have here with us Dave from Down Under.
Jesus Christ.
FairDinkum Dave.
Yes, FairDinkum Dave. I don't know why everyone does the accent for Australia.
It's like when people... I don't know if people actually can do the accent for Swedish...
I don't think most people realize there is a Swedish accent. We just look at Swedish chef and go, hurdy, dirty, hurdy, dirty.
Dirty, dirty, birdie. There's nothing lamer than the Swedish accent for the English.
Nah.
It's just so cringeworthy. Welcome to Sweden. I hope you're having a good time. It's like a retarded donkey or something.
You're not wrong. It really sounds like they're just speaking to a special education student. Welcome to Sweden. We'd really like to have you here.
Hello, my name is Olaf, and I am special.
Would you like to watch Frozen?
Yeah, that's kind of it. Oh, God.
Pretty much.
Now, I actually listened to an interesting video with Slavoj Zizek, if you know about him. He's a philosopher. Really interesting guy. I don't agree with most of the things he say, but sometimes he actually comes with these nuggets. And in this case, he was actually talking about how political correctness could actually lead to more conflict than resolving conflict. And as an example, he said that him being from the former Yugoslavia, that whenever people, ex-Yugoslavians, meet, it's sort of like they start insulting each other. Not in a sense of, you fucking Bosnian, you. It's more like they meet and they do all these dirty jokes about each other. And I think that's sort of relatable, because when you have a group of really good friends, you usually just throw around insults and shit, but you know that the person saying it has it's a joke.
Yeah.
And Slavoj's point was that one way to actually combat racism is to have this sort of allowance for the sort of heartfelt, hard racist kind of jokes. Not to create a proximity to real racism. And I agree about this. And one of the things he said is that whenever he meets someone new, he asked them to say some dirty joke about themselves. So Dave, please do a dirty joke about Australians.
Oh, shit, Sam, you feel really good for New Zealand because they love to fuck sheep. It's their favourite thing. The thing is, Australians are known for is getting shit-faced drunk. So we get shit-faced drunk, we wake up on the beach, we're probably still high as shit from the night before. And we're going, where the fuck did we get up here? And then we meet Jim Bob down the road for another beer. Like, we're the most laid-back species because we just don't care.
Perfect.
That's nice.
It's nice don't caring sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to be racist towards an Australian because their attitude is get drunk or chill the fuck out. It's like, how do you insult basically a fucking hippie?
You take away their drugs.
Yeah, exactly. The difference between a hippie and an Australian is that one actually bathes.
And it's not the Australian, right?
Yeah, you're right there. we just go for a dive in the water, we'll be right. Now we go fight off a shark.
Get out from the water, go punch a kangaroo.
Well, we gotta make sure we breathe those
throw around a platypus.
How hard is to find a platypus? Fucking swim deep.
Really?
Yeah. It's probably you find like really ponds out in the middle of fucking nowhere that no one lives. And yeah, they lay eggs. They're a mammal, but they lay eggs. The only mammal that does this. It was created to fuck with us.
Yeah.
Stop confusing me, you little shit.
Like it's got a duck's bill, a beaver's tail. It's got claws. It lays eggs instead of live babies. No one understands this animal.
Doesn't the male also have poison glands?
Maybe I haven't heard
Yeah.
that one.
I think it does in the claws.
Yeah.
That does surprise me.
Little shit.
Ever wonder why Darwin was bald?
Came to Australia and was like, what the fuck is this?
Just pulling his hair out. The fuck's with this giant lizard? It doesn't breathe fire. It can't be a dragon.
But it's all fun and games
Oh yeah.
until the government gets involved.
Yeah. Oh, it's always fun and games. So they come in. Like knock knock knock. Hey, we want some taxes after you die. We want to steal your shit. In other words, we're not happy you had a good life.
Yo, man, I need some taxes.
Yo, man, I can't afford giving some a pay rise. I need some taxes from your grandpa after he's dead.
I already gave you taxes. What did you do with that money? Nah, it's gone,
I
man.
blew it on cocaine and hookers.
Well, you can't argue with that.
Exactly.
Right?
But that's not what we were supposed to talk about today.
No, we're not supposed to talk about how much of a
guess
joke the
not.
government is.
I guess one thing, just one last thing, speaking of the Australian government, how did that emu war go?
Well, since they took our guns away, we still haven't won it. It's currently a peace treaty. So the thing is, their claws could rip your guts out, and the government refused to pay for the armor we needed to fight it with maces. So now we're just got a peace treaty going.
It's a ceasefire at the moment, I guess.
And there you have it.
Yeah. But do tell us a bit about yourself, Dave.
Okay, well, Jesus Christ, I need to clear my throat. You're going to fun turn that one down. Basically, I'm just a typical Australian. I grew up lower class. My family had part-time work. Oh, we had full-time work, but I wasn't well paying. Mum worked in aged care. My dad worked in mental health, so I got to see both sides of that. I'm going to miss have a drink here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got coffee.
I get like half a glass of soft drink. So lived pretty poor. Went to public school. Wasn't anything fancy there. Basically, my parents taught me to think outside the box, so that's why I do think the political ideas I have. I was raised Christian without actually being Christian. And we believe to keep traditions alive, which is why you see me joke about things like the Emu War and drop bears.
The good stuff.
You gotta eat Vegemite, it's the only way to keep them off you. They're allergic to it. But yeah, so I finished high school, not much to do, so I started YouTube, started Twitter, and Twitter's how I met you guys, because I shit posted and I had some interesting political views online. So yeah, it's basically, and we eventually got to hear from me shit posting on Twitch.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. Wondrous place, the internet.
Oh yes. You can make the connection you never thought were possible.
Such as two Swedish people.
Yep.
Sound like goddamn elves.
Nej, du förstår inte vad du menar.
Nah, nu snackar han skit.
That better not be goddamn LSD in my lunch.
No, it's not LSD. DMT, though.
I don't want to see them clockwork elves. I saw what Alex Jones said. I ain't meeting reptilian overlords.
Oh, Alex Jones. The most memeable man alive.
So true.
Walking meme.
Yeah. Speaking of memes, we have the issue of content creation today and how, for some reason, no matter what you do, somehow it ends up being sort of controversial.
Yeah. And that was a smooth segue.
Yeah, I know. I'm great at those, ain't I?
For sometimes.
as graceful as a fucking hippo in a tutu.
I mean, they're very graceful until you get them to try and do a dance. Then that's when the problem comes in. Not good on 2 feet.
But it's a pretty ballerina.
Oh dear.
Only if you talk to a feminist. Everyone else is a fucking hippo.
But why would you?
Right?
Yeah. Ballerina.
Actually, I don't even think you need to speak to them. You'll hear them scream across the room, so it's like, eh.
Yeah, you're trying to buy a hot dog. Misogyny! He's got a dick in red!
It's like you hear them come, and in the same way as in Jurassic Park when they see the water glass, a boom, boom, boom.
It's true, they do move in herds. Just imagine Trigglypuff walking down there.
Walking?
Okay, rolling. Sorry.
They see me rolling. Hey.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Oh, thank God this isn't popular. We catch so much flack.
Oh, yeah.
Fitting for the topic.
But that's part of the fun. I mean,
Yeah.
this actually embodies the whole thing that we're creating content. It's kind of edgy. We're being facetious. Even though we know we're just joking, someone's going to be offended and it's going to be a whole lot of re.
Oh, yeah, it's just way too common. What happens when you get offended? Oh, your feelings are upset. Go have a coffee. You're not going to care in 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And offense is not given, it is taken.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if someone gets offended by our really stupid jokes, it's on them, not on us. That's my opinion, at least.
That sounds like a you problem, Chief. But yeah, like you look at Australians, we have like the emu wars, we said, the drop pairs, the shrimp on the Barbie, the awful accents. Could you imagine we got triggered every time someone did a bad accent? We'd be able to power a fucking nuclear power plant with just our rage.
That's it! We had enough!
It's a goddamn prawn, motherfucker! Learn English! We don't have shrimp!
But then again, to be honest, you guys have the ultimate weapon to use. You have koalas. Those fuckers blow up by themselves.
They don't blow up, they hide in the tree, you know, they're like ninjas, but really fucking lazy. They're sitting in their favourite tree, munching on some eucalyptus, waiting for some Japanese tourist who didn't listen. And I just dive bomb them. Here's some kamikaze. Here's some kamikaze for you. Revenge for Pearl Harbor.
Poof. Murder koalas.
Jesus.
Is there anyone that's made a B movie about murdering koalas?
I think there actually was. I think there was one.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was like an indie uni student film. Shit, I have to Google that. But yeah, I think there was. I think it was one that was made. Oh,
Jeez, I gotta see that.
I remember there's one really dumb Australian film where these Australian troops, because it turns out we had a cougar, a pet cougar in the Australian military to keep morale up, and we lost it out in the wilderness. During World War II, we lost it out in the wilderness.
Oh, shit.
So anyway, there's a real group of troops that was sent out there to fight this cougar. In this movie, they're bringing this massive machine around that they've been told to try and track down the cougar. In reality, it's a time machine, and they get set back in time to try and stop the Nazis. Then somehow, the Nazis get the time machine, they go into the future, get UFOs, and so it's an entire time travel plot trying to stop the Nazis. It's so dumb. Like the Nazis somehow got dinosaurs.
Shit!
Oh, shit. That's sort of on par with Iron Sky.
It really is. We got some dumb movies. Like, but also, Australian icon for us is Ned Kelly. This guy fought the law. It's like, other countries, we're gonna have someone who helped our country become civilized. Our country. That guy's a fucking terrorist, but he stopped the corrupt police officers. Fucking Ned Kelly!
Well, I guess he's continuing the tradition of you guys being convicts, so...
Yeah, exactly.
It's an old honorable tradition.
Look, the government robs you, it puts you in jail for no reason, may as well be a convict.
Yeah, true.
The irony is the Americans weren't convicts, and yet they're more skeptical of the government than us.
Yeah. Yeah, strange that,
It really is.
But interesting also when it comes to movies and stuff like that. Here in Sweden, at least when I was young, one of the most popular things that you could see on TV during summer were different Australian kids series.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Ah, that's an interesting
And
one.
actually, some of the best TV series for kids that I have seen have been produced in Australia.
Huh.
That's true.
That's really strange because I think last 10, 15 years ago, the Australian industry is basically dying. We don't have any original ideas.
Well, I suppose it was cheap to buy them, I suppose.
But they were actually well made.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Look, we do have some...
Go on.
I'll keep going. We have some great indie films, like there is Young Einstein, and basically it's this Australian version of Einstein trying to discover the way to make beer have bubbles, and that's the entire plot, and he ends up doing it through rock and roll.
I think I've seen that one, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I need to check that one out.
It's a good one. There's another one by same creator about Ned Kelly, and he's just this outlaw trying to get money to pay for his hotel, and he's just it's a modern age one, so it's got a motorbike and everything. It's great.
Nice.
General. That actually is something we keep going with. Actually, like that was back in I think like 70s, 80s. We had that big boom, and so like 90s to 2000s, we started getting Home and Away and other dramas that would continue for 20 plus years, and that's what's really killed our industry. Yeah. I think Home and Away's gone for like 19 years now. It's just ridiculous. But that's what's killed our industry is that we've brought these safe bets on with these big series and not really making many new creative ones.
But correct me if I'm wrong here, but wasn't the first Mad Max made in Australia?
Yeah, it was. And trying to remember the main actor for it. He did all his own stunts, so when you actually see the bike run over his arm, that actually happened, and he felt that pain, that scene.
Ooh.
For Mel Gibson?
Yeah, Mel Gibson, that's who it was. Don't know why I didn't know his name.
Really?
Yeah, he actually got his arm run over for that scene.
Holy crap. Because I remember the first time I saw Mad Max, it was the Road Warrior, the second movie.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got my hands on the first one, and I was kind of surprised because they weren't really alike.
Yeah, no, they're completely different in tone.
But I really enjoyed the first one because it truly captured the what should I say? The post-apocalyptic, but still like you had the society left, and then you had the more not so much society part. But I really like the contrast in that one.
Yeah, it's got the whole society still there, all the buildings are up, but it has the chaos of what you would have after apocalypse, of people doing whatever they want to whoever they want.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's a really good tale of revenge too. Sorry, I cut you off there. Where
yeah, it is.
Yeah, so his wife gets killed, and then he goes and gets this card designed to try and track down these outlaws, and he just hunts them down, and he kills them in really interesting ways. And I remember one.
Yeah, I remember that.
One, he has the petrol pouring into a light, and then it'll eventually go into a flame, and he handcuffs the guy to this car. It's about to explode, gives him a hacksaw. He says, "You can either the handcuffs will take you 10 minutes to cut through. That'll blow up before then. You can try cutting through your hand. You'll be out within 5, and you might live."
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a theory going around the Mad Max series that it isn't really post-apocalyptic. It's just Australia, but out in the bush.
In the outback.
Yeah. So society still exists, but just not out there.
Yeah, like the government's like, "Oh, I can't be fucked chasing those bands into the desert. Mad Max, get over here."
It's like they're chasing after them. At some point, they're like, "Nah, let them go. No one survives out there."
We don't want to waste the petrol out there and get stuck down in the goddamn heat.
It's a wasteland.
Oh, my beer, mate.
But yeah, like the first movie is really good. The second one is apparently still good. The third one's just terrible. And then you have like the new one that came out.
I fucking hate this Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one.
Actually, it's so sad because the first part of Beyond Thunderdome, when he's actually in the town and everything, that's a really great part of the movie. That could have been the whole movie. But then when he goes out and finds these fucking kids, at that point, I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, I'll agree there. Then you have like the fourth one, which I've only read reviews for, and basically Mad Max exists, but he's basically a mute, and it's all about this female character who's useless.
You mean the new?
Yeah, the new one, the very new one, came out like last year or 2 years ago now.
No,
Fury Road.
Fury Road. I actually think that was a good movie.
Right.
There were parts of it that I really hated, like these four damsels. Or
Yeah.
bitches, rather, because, God, they were just so fucking annoying. I wished they died.
And, what
But
reason
I
was there
actually
for
think
kidnapping
that
them?
they made a pretty fair Mad Max. I think that Furiosa was a really interesting character, but she could have had a better arc. But the later part of the movie, when they meet up with the nomads, that's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, what I've heard from
I'm
it starts off strong. Sorry about that. And then ends weak.
No, sorry. Yeah, I mean, it sounds a lot like these later movies. They don't have the creativity to keep up the movie. Like, in Beyond Thunderdome, alright, we have this thing. How the fuck are we gonna end this? We don't have... No, we're spent. I don't know. Kids, I don't know. And in Fury Road, like, alright, we have this chasing, we all have this... What are we gonna do now? Fucked if I know.
Yeah, feels kind of like it.
Yeah, it does
It's like
look
they
that
put
way.
all their effort and energy and money on the first part and having these action scenes and just blowing the budget, and it's like, oh shit, we need to wrap this up. Shuffle cards.
So accurate. Yeah, released for later films. And really, they're only using the Mad Max title because they know it's going to sell the movie. There's nothing else behind it, really. That's the problem with at least the newest one.
Yeah, I get a sense that too. Like the franchise sells.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we can see that with now I'm gonna try to segue this shit.
Segway!
I mean, not to beat this poor dead horse, but with the Star Wars franchise.
Oh, God.
Go get the whip. You may as well start going.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's twitching. Hit it.
We've brought it back from the dead. Quick, get the defibrillator.
Need a paladin for this shit. No, but I get that same feeling with these Star Wars. Like, they don't have the creativity to keep these moves up, but they know it's gonna sell because of the franchise name. I get that.
Yeah,
I get that feeling.
Yeah, actually, that is the whole reason why The Force Awakens was so popular, because it was the comeback of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to say that the movie in itself was weak, at least in comparison to what came after. But there were certain aspects of the movie that you saw that it just played to the older fans. They wanted to make a New Hope 2.0.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm not a big fan of Star Wars, but when I saw Death Star Mark III and bringing Han Solo back, it's like, okay, you're reaching here.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it was a nice touch to at least try to appeal to the old fans, which they have totally let go in the later movies.
No. It was about subverting expectations.
Oh,
Fuck you and your subversion of expectations.
do you know how you subvert expectations? You write an original fucking story. There's your hint.
Yeah, Ryan.
But now they're bringing the Emperor back for, well, the rise of Skywalker.
The dark side of Force.
We get the Senate back, I suppose.
I have no idea how the fuck they're gonna pull this off.
Look, the dark side of the Force has powers strange and unknown. That's how they all keep coming back.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Dark Plagueis the Wise?
No, but did you hear the tragic story about Luke Skywalker?
The new trilogy.
Oh, fucking hell. Yes. And now they're gonna make a new trilogy.
no.
No, we're just not sure if it's gonna be Ryan Johnson directing them or it's gonna be the guys making the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, D&D.
Whatever their names are.
I just refer to them as D&D because they both have D's in their name. So
They're D's.
dicks.
I mean, the biggest hope there is that they do a new story. They don't try to lean on the original Star Wars because it has so much expanded universe and they never use it for some reason.
Well, the first thing that Disney did was to decanonize the expanded universe. So,
Yeah. They can still do a lot of expansion, have a good story, because it's a massive universe. Just do a bounty hunter. You got an interesting story there.
yeah.
Well, we get the Mandalorian soon.
Yeah, but we need the new Disney streaming service to be able to see that.
Ugh.
Or we just hoist our flags.
Oh, I see. I hear the high seas coming.
Surfing the interwebs.
I'm just gonna say that I do miss the old days of the internet before the shutdown of Pirate Bay and everything. It was good times. You could get what you wanted and no big risk. But, well, it was just a matter of time before they start cracking down on it. So
I wish I'd actually
it's like the true age of piracy.
Art imitates life.
Exactly.
Which actually, on the
Let's start with the Somali pirates style.
Somali Bay.
How the fuck is that gonna look like?
I have no idea. Imagine
Look at me. I am the captain now. Same timing too.
Great minds and everything like that.
Okay, on the topic of original stories, Star Wars, in a similar batch, Halo has the same problem. They keep reusing Master Chief instead of just going to a different story. Like Halo 5.
Yeah.
New guys, and they still have to go and chase down Master Chief. Just let Chief die for once.
And let him stay dead.
Let me die! No.
Yeah, don't whip him like a dead horse.
When the problem comes along, you must whip it.
Whip that horse.
Whip it good.
Whip it good.
But yeah, I actually haven't played anything Halo since the third game.
See, I played Halo Reach, which is actually a good game. It has its own story. It doesn't rely on Master Chief. It has some really good mechanics.
That's nice.
Halo 4, I didn't play because Master Chief, and I didn't like the story or the gunplay. And Halo 5, I've only seen reviews for because I haven't played that either. But what disappoints me most about Halo is that we have the ODST troops, which are basically human soldiers, and we have all the fucked up shit the Navy intelligence has done in the Halo universe. And all you have to do is drop them onto a ship that's abandoned, have them discover some of the secrets as they go through, and you have a really interesting lore-intense game. And if you can you can make it tactical or make it a horror game.
You know, like Colonial Marines was supposed to be.
Yeah. It's like the funniest thing about Colonial Marines, they literally just changed one letter in the coding and it fixed all the AI.
Oh dear.
That's just so sad.
It really is. Yeah, some person changed, like a G was put in the wrong place, and someone fixed it when they went through the code, and now the AI actually works.
Holy crap.
Leave it to the community.
Mm-hmm. It's
Sounds
like Bethesda. They just make something, throw it out there, and expect the modders to fix it.
I was gonna say that too.
And then the fuckers take credit for the fixes.
Yeah, they put it in the creation club and you pay $5 for someone else's job.
Exactly. God.
I mean, I guess it wasn't a harm done when they had this single player open world. Like, all right, buy the game, then do your thing. But if we're gonna beat another dead horse in our undead stable here with the Fallout 76,
it's time for the radioactive horse.
flog the Brahmin.
Oh, the Brahmin.
The library of dead horses. Okay, so yeah. Fallout 76. Like, the worst part about that is they literally just got Fallout 4, modded it badly so it had all the same glitches and made it multiplayer. Of course it was going to be a failure.
Totally. And now it's just, holy shit, pay to win and everything like that.
Yeah, they're trying to milk whoever's left, and that's the problem there.
Yeah, they know it's failing, and they're like panicking to just make some money off it.
Todd, this is not gonna work.
Todd, you can't patch the beaver up with just fucking duct tape, man. You gotta do something
I will
else.
patch it. It will work.
It just works.
It just works.
Duct tape and spit doesn't work, Todd. You haven't learned this after 20 years?
It will work. We will find a way to run Skyrim on it.
Yeah.
We just sell
Speaking of
Skyrim.
Skyrim, they're gonna, if the PS5 is gonna be backwards compatible, we're gonna have another generation of consoles with Skyrim on it.
Oh,
God damn it, Todd!
Like, as soon as he's gonna start porting it to like the Nintendo GameCube, he just needs to sell Skyrim.
That would be nice.
Oh, Jesus. But that's the sad part of the best stuff, and then why they're going to fail soon, because they have a 20-year-old engine that's been breaking for over 10 years now, and they refuse to update.
Yeah.
But I've seen in some for the Elder Scrolls 6, it was a bit of a development release, and they are really working hard to really updating the current engine with the, what is it called, photo realistic graphics and all that.
But they're still gonna have the same base problems no matter what they do with the updates.
I don't know that, because it really seemed they pushing it to really develop their engine. So I don't know about that.
Well, see, my disagreement there is with Fallout 76 was supposed to have a similar engine put into it to work with the graphics, which was buggy as hell. And I think it's 20 years old, so it's used to processing a lot less data in it. And the other thing is they have to get their coding either extremely well done, or else you just update to a new engine.
Yeah.
That's true. And maybe put their A-team on this.
Nah.
We're gonna have this huge multiplayer game with this new awesome engine, but we're not gonna put our A-team to it. We're gonna put this a little bit more inexperienced team on that. Todd, no!
Todd's just like, yeah, it's a glorified mod. Surely they can do that. Now give me that fucking cigar.
Either that or Todd was like looking over at BioWare like, Andromeda, I like the idea. Hey, let's do that.
Looks at Robot where, someone's making more money than me. Maybe if I just resell Fallout 4, they can't do the Skyrim memes then. Let's see if we can do it.
I'll show them all.
Well, actually, there's this interview with Todd saying that when he was young, he said that, I want to make video games and everybody's going to play it. And he was told that, go back to the chess club. And have you seen that clip?
I think I have, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That one.
Yeah. So I think it's safe to say that the reason Todd is doing what it is because of his sort of weird, twisted way of revenge. It's like the angry nerd getting back at his bullies.
It's like, I got you all to play
rage,
it.
if you will.
I got you all to play it. Now I fuck it up.
Everybody plays my creation. Look at my success.
Creative kamikaze, I suppose we can call it.
Pearl Harbor on your own creation.
Or the Lusitania. Or maybe 9/11. I mean, if we're talking inside jobs.
Jet fuel does melt steel beams. Whoopsie.
Realization.
Straight back to edgy content.
Yeah, exactly. But the edgy content is the best content.
Oh, yeah. You've got to be able to laugh at suffering, because if you don't, you'll go fucking mad.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose we could call it like a Bloody Mary. It's a nice, savory, tomatoey drink, but some Tabasco in it. But it sort of works. A little bit
alcohol.
of edge. What?
And alcohol, of course.
Yeah, of course.
You can have alcohol, that's not Bloody Mary.
It's a Virgin Mary.
Oh, shit, they're gonna give birth.
Bleeds a lot, but you still shouldn't be drinking it.
It's like that one time in the month, I guess.
You never go for the Virgin Mary. Only villains do that, like Dracula.
Take him Mary or Rita or whatever.
Actually, look, back to edgy content. Comedy is really going to suffer because of political correctness. If you cannot laugh or make fun of things that upset most people, how are you going to have comedy? You have to risk offense to create laughter.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's true. But because if we're gonna have comedy that is this tame and non-offensive, it's gonna be like, oh well, my grandma, she used a Q-tip, and oh god, it was a horrible history. And someone's gonna be like, my grandma died because of a Q-tip, you asshole.
I was going to say my ancestors used to pick content. They used
Content.
They would go off YouTube. They worked for the algorithm. They would find content far and wide, and they would demonetize for no reason.
Worked on the content plantations.
They were growing memes.
More like censoring them. I meant to say my ancestors were collecting cotton, and I said content. Jesus Christ. Good thing I could do improv.
Yeah.
We knew what I was going, we just piled right with.
But yeah, it's like, you can't even joke about McDonald's anymore, you know? You go to McDonald's, you get yourself a Happy Meal. The problem is you're only happy for 5 minutes, because then you look down your guts and like, Jesus fucking Christ, I'm getting fat. You say that, you're now offending, you're body shaming. Jesus Christ.
Hey, my wife is fat, you insensitive bastard!
I have a thyroid
I can
problem.
see that, and she takes up all of the places in here.
I realised that a fucking seat got taken up because she bought 2 instead of 1 for a fat fucking ass.
I'm just waiting for new rules to have fat people sit in the middle of the aisle on the planes because you don't want to have them tip over to the side.
You don't want to fucking up the balance of the plane.
I mean, should one of us switch place? In other case, we're going to Canada.
I mean, Canada's a fucking joke as well. Like, you call someone by the wrong name or pronoun, next thing you know, you're going to jail.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
I'm going to jail.
Jail! I was going to say that next too. I was preparing a joke. It's like, you're going to your wife, Jesus Christ, honey, you look like a fucking dyke. You know, the FBI knocks on the door, open up, it's the FBI. I'm going to jail!
Yeah, that's an interesting cesspool, that.
Yeah.
It really is. They're trying to bring those.
I actually have another point that the philosopher I was talking about earlier. Yeah, Zizek. Oh, anyways, one of the points he actually made in the same video I was referring to earlier was that before the civil war on the Balkans in the 90s, in the 80s and early 90s, there were actually so much conflict going. And one of the first things that they did to sort of counter it was to manage language and speech like we see today, because you couldn't have any form of offensive joking.
Yep.
Oops.
Yeah. And what happens in the Balkans? Well, we do know what happened there. And I think this is also part of the issue we have today, that because you cannot talk or joke about certain things, people are going to get frustrated, they are going to get mad, and before you know it, you will have real conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I fully agree with that.
That's
and
true.
we had that with, as I said yesterday, the Christchurch shooter said that was his main reason.
Mm.
Because our politicians are getting slandered and silenced, they bring up the Muslim immigration. I'm not going to go into that on this podcast. But he felt there was a severe problem there that were going to be bred out or at least replaced by the Muslims, and so felt the only way to even get his voice out there and his views out there now because of the censorship and control of speech was to go and shoot 50 Muslims so people would be able to read his manifesto. The entire point was to get the media to bring up his manifesto so people would read it, and it was to try and inspire other shooters.
Yeah, and I mean, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it really is. Like, this should never result to violence.
Exactly. But the main thing here is just that he was so frustrated that he went to those extreme measures to just get his opinion out there. Now, it's a stupid opinion in all ways there is, in my... Yeah. I believe, at least.
I would agree as well.
But he should have had the right to express it. Yeah. And we should have been able to meet that and critique it.
Yeah, and chances are, if we critiqued it and showed him why he was wrong, maybe he wouldn't have accepted it. But other people with those similar ideas starting to form them, we could put them on the correct path. You just have to allow free speech.
Exactly. I mean, we have a huge problem here in Sweden with the immigrant crisis and everything. And one of the reasons we have such a crisis is because we aren't really allowed to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that a lot, especially because we have the internet now, which allows us to hear other views, which our mainstream media doesn't, which is a massive problem with mainstream media and one of the many reasons it's dying. But yeah, the topic of free speech is that we have hate speech laws as suggested in every country, and they shouldn't be allowed. And 1984, there's you should know this because you read it. They controlled speech. They were deleting words from the dictionary, so people could not express certain emotions or thoughts. And I remember there was a line saying, "The destruction of language is a beautiful thing."
Yeah.
Yeah, living in a world that doesn't have that.
Yeah, well, the thing is that one of the most powerful scenes in that book is actually when you hear the perfect example of doublethink. And there is this big military parade, because in the world of 1984, there are three major powers. I can't really remember the names of them, but it's like sort of a European power, a North American or American power, and a Eastern Asian power. And these powers always fight, and it's more or less always that two are allied against one. But who are allies and who are fighting, it's always changing. And in the scene here, there is a speech for... they were celebrating the alliance between the faction that... what's his name? Winston? The protagonist?
Yep.
The faction that Winston lives in is part of. And they're supposed to be celebrating the alliance with one of these other major powers. But in the middle of the speech, there comes someone out and leaves a message to the speaker. And it says that the alliance has changed. And what happens is that the speaker says that, oh, we've all been deceived. And the former ally, they have always been the enemy. And so what happens is they start tearing down all of the images and everything that celebrates the alliance, and instead says that we've been deceived, these have always been the enemy, and everybody just believes it. Everybody is just way on par with what's happening now, and nobody objects, because in their minds it's like, yes, this has always been the thing, even though that just 10 seconds ago they were their big ally.
Yep. As through the absolute control they've had through education and destroying words. And you must believe the news, because the news is complete truth. So when things change, they instantly go, okay, I must believe the truth. That's how their brains have been conditioned. And that's how brainwashing works. Prolonged conditioning.
Yeah. And it's just so fucking scary to live in a time where we see this totalitarianism just surfacing.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to critique what's happening, because at that point you're just an enemy.
Yeah, that's entirely true, unfortunately. In fact, like my country, because any employer will check out your Facebook or your Twitter if they can find it. So, for example, I went to my Fraser Anning speech as a conservative, and I listened to him talk. Now, I don't even have to agree with anything he says, but because I was there, that can stop me from being employed if it was public knowledge on my public profile where you have my face seen. And that's a scary thing to be in. I don't even have to agree with someone, but if I listen to the wrong speech, I can basically be written off being employed.
And that's fucked up.
That's
And
the
I
main.
guess that's why we're doing our own thing on the internet.
Yeah, I see it as a sort of a safety valve for our own frustrations, I would
Sort
say.
of.
Yeah,
We have a place just to spew out our steam and pressure, and then just going back to, how do you say, that in English? Knyta handen I fickan. Clench your fist in your pocket, so to speak.
Like a true Swede.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, also the other benefit of the internet is you can see that there's other people out there. You're not the only one that thinks this is all insane. You can see there's other people that agree with you, and it's not that you're part of a silent group. Not that you're the only one that goes everything's fucking insane.
Mm-hmm.
Fellow wrong thinkers.
Exactly.
Yes, wrong thing, exactly.
If you're listening to this, you are part of the resistance.
If you listen to this 10 years, we might have been slammed and our heads chopped off.
Well, it would have been a good run at least.
True.
At least we went down laughing.
Oh, yeah.
Just imagine it in a couple of 100 years and archaeologists get hold of our podcast and start listening and thinking, what the hell is this?
Not getting any of the reference.
This is revolutionary heresy.
It's like we're Space Marines back there. Brother, what are you listening to? I believe it is heresy, brother. I do not know what the degenerates of the old world thought, but I believe it was wrong.
What does it say? Do you let your men consume such smut?
You inspire men to study such foul smut, Commissar! You heretic! Fantastic scene in If the Emperor Had Text-to-Speech Device.
Yeah.
Do not look at her. Look at the Emperor, for the Emperor is eternal.
Yeah.
Breasts are temporarily. The love of the Emperor is eternal.
On a completely different note, I'm just looking for a new message tune for my phone, and I'm actually looking for a Warhammer 40k related thing. So either I'm gonna have a Space Marine, a Chaplain, or better part, if I can find a Commissar line that works.
Yes.
Even though I do want to get into Warhammer, but it's so goddamn expensive for those models.
Yeah.
Whenever I see dumb shit, I just find myself going, brother, gets the flamer.
The heavy flamer.
Greetings, citizen. What's going on in this thread? By the Emperor.
Because I work at a charity store the other day. Not only did we have Twilight donated to us, we had Gay Vampire Erotica and a French maid outfit donated. It's like, by the Emperor,
Oh, God.
gets the flamer. The heavy flamer.
Hans gets the flamer. Never mind, forget the flamer. Get the good stuff.
I'm gonna need a heavy bolter for this heresy.
You know, so many gags that it's so good.
Oh, man.
The sad part is you have more fun laughing at the extremism of fucking Space Marines than you can the left.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, my. Well, we've been going on for a while now, so do we have any closing thoughts on our current situation?
Well, I'll go first, I suppose. Comedy's a real bitch to do now, especially on things like YouTube and Facebook, where they not only censor you, they take your videos down or copyright strike you, so you can't make any money. Because I originally planned on doing a skit show on YouTube. The thing was, I have a wrong think, as we call it, and I didn't want to be publicly seen because I need to get a job. So it's massive danger problem there, which is a massive problem of content creation, is that we have to censor ourselves and think the right ideas. Hope that looks like it's changing now. Hopefully it does, because otherwise we will get more extremist, and that's going to be a much worse problem.
Yeah.
The game industry is definitely going to have a massive turn, but that's a topic for an entirely different podcast.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
what else do we talk about besides? Oh, so the Australian film industry. What happens when you have an industry that relies on a short budget, such as the Australian industry did back in the 80s and 90s, is you get creativity because you have to work within those restrictions, and that breeds creativity.
Unless it's Sweden, because at this point, any filmmaker that gets money from the state, they usually work on low budgets, but all of their projects are like this feminist sort of existential issue thing.
Drama,
Propaganda.
angsty.
Yeah.
In lack of better words, yes.
Call it for what it is. It's propaganda.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So please, Dave, plug your channels.
Yeah, channels. Well, channel 1 for now on YouTube, which is FairDinkum Dave, same as my name here. There may be in the future Tin Hat Dave, which will be for my podcast, when I finally find myself a co-host. I also have Twitch, which is again FairDinkum Dave, and Twitter, where I do all my, I share all my information, all the thoughts I have. I promote my channel and my Twitch there, so go follow Twitter there. You can also interact with me and send me direct messages. I think that's about everything.
Yeah.
Shill the living shit out of your channel.
Oh, damn straight. I'm going to shill the shit out of my own stuff. How else am I going to make money?
Yeah, exactly.
And
I'm the
we
world's
support that decision.
Yes.
I'm the world's worst shill. I can't even pay myself. For edgy humour, I'm the opposite of a Jew. I work for free.
You're broken. You don't eat kosher, I guess.
Oy vey.
Well, I guess we should end it before we go even further.
Yep.
This is to go even further beyond.
But this has been a great time.
Yes.
I am really happy that you came on with us.
Yep.
And really, we have to do this again. This was fun.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
it
we
was.
do.
I really enjoyed being on. It was a good laugh.
And we'll continue talking over Twitter, and I'll try to catch your streams whenever I can.
Yeah, I'll have to try and do the more late at night ones so G can catch them because of the time differences.
Yeah, they're a bitch.
They really are. Yesterday, after I think we spoke for 2.5, 3 hours, my cheeks were sore just because of how much we were laughing.
But hey,
We
it was
aim to
fun.
these.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, when you got time or when I've got time, I'm happy to do another podcast with you.
Oh, awesome. And you can get in touch with us on the usual places. Twitter.
Yep.
Our handle is @DRHpodcast. You can send us mail, dead.red.herring@gmail.com. And we have our stuff on most places you find podcasts. We do upload on YouTube from time to time. And
All the time, just a little bit delayed.
yeah. I'm looking at you.
Yeah, get me the sound files in time, then we'll talk.
What, so it's my fault now?
Damn straight it is.
Yeah. Well, I hope everybody had a good time. At least I did.
Oh, yes.
I did too.
And and I hope you that listened had a good time as well. And I hope you'll be back for more weird shenanigans later on. So until then, have a good time and bye, everyone.
Later. I mean, to be fair, as an English speaker, you could get any Swedish word and just have it sound like a fantasy name.
Rövklåda.